Yo, what is up guys? My name is Patrick, host of EDH Brutality, and today we're going to be discussing the financial burden known as Magic the Gathering. So without further ado, how about you sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Welcome back folks, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for dropping by and your ongoing support. As always, timestamps we've provided down in the description below, and a quick friendly reminder that EDH Brutality is now on Patreon. I know we just mentioned it in the previous video, but you folks are paying for it, so we're going to keep on plugging it. I'm an opportunist, and this is a great opportunity to go check it out. The link will be down in the description below. And if you like what you see, make sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So we all know by now that the game of Magic the Gathering is amazing. However, is it the best financial decision? Absolutely not. Today's video will be covering just that as we dive into what makes Magic the Gathering a plague to us all. After all, it is known as cardboard crack. And I really wish that I knew these things going into the game, because would I have ever bought my very first card? Yes, I would have. Because Magic has changed me for the better. However, that does not mean that it's without its faults. First of which being the price of entry. Let's say we want to jump right into Magic's most popular game mode, Elder Dragon Highlander, or abbreviated EDH, the 100 card singleton format. Well, we can't do so without a deck, so let's head over to Amazon and see what the pre-constructed decks from Wizards of the Coast are going for. And based on the listings of this site, it looks like the average pre-con from Wizards of the Coast comes in around $50. However, that is not cheap, especially in today's economy. Not to mention, what if you don't like your purchase? This gets far worse when you look at the other pre-cons, like AC of the Gyre Strait, or even the Eldrazi Unbound pre-con, both coming in around $100. Well, for the sake of the video, let's round down on this purchase and say we only spent $70 on a pre-constructed deck straight from Wizards of the Coast. Well, we can't play with just our deck. Nope, if you want to be a true gamer in the game known as Magic the Gathering, we have to have a few accessories, especially if we're going to be showing up a Friday Night Magic at our local game store. First of which, if you want to protect that initial $70 investment, we have to put some card sleeves on our cards. This will prevent wear and tear throughout years, as well as the friction of shuffling and handling each card. So pick a color that you like, because if you want to protect your deck, you'll be spending an average of $14 on outer sleeves. And of course, if you want to pick these up at your local game store, expect to pay a slightly higher price, as they are a business and need to make a living as well. And this is not to mention the full protection. Let's say you're just really concerned about protecting that initial $70 investment and you want inner sleeves as well to double sleeve that deck of yours. Well, inner sleeves is going to cost a total of $8. So if we add the $8 inner sleeves plus the outer sleeves plus our initial $70 investment, we are already up to $92 spent before our first game has even been completed. So that we're finally ready to play Magic. No, we aren't. We are going to look like a friggin' weirdo if we show up to our local game store without a playmat. A playmat is like a large mouse pad meant for playing cards. It will protect them as well as provide a clean surface to play on, because, you know, we don't want to play with our $70 deck and we just spent almost $20 on sleeves on a dirty, sticky surface on some plastic table in the back of some guy's garage. No, we need a playmat, and a playmat will cost you around $30. Holy cow, this is getting expensive fast. And trust me, it doesn't even end there. Let's say we're playing the game and something happens, our creature gets larger or reduces in size. Well, we need Chessex dice now. That's right, we need Chessex dice for +1/+1 counters to signify how many of particular objects or effects are on the table at any given time. And you can pick up a set of Chessex dice for $14. I'm sensing a trend here. And with that, we've finally successfully finished our very first night of Magic the Gathering. It's time to pack up and head home. While we certainly aren't going to carry our deck out of the store or our friend's home with our bare hands, we could drop them and play a 100 card pickup. Well, to prevent this, we need something known as a deck box, something that's great for storage and protects our decks when we transport them from point A to point B. I recommend Gamegenic. You can find them in various colors to suit your needs, but they come in at $22. This will result in a total price of $158, but if we equate shipping or taxes into the mix, we're going to be spending about $170 just to get into the format known as EDH. If you have that, congratulations, you can now enjoy the game known as Magic the Gathering. If you can't afford that, obviously we can still play the game. If we find a cheaper deck, we avoid buying a deck box, the card sleeves, the dice, or even the playmat. However, you're not going to be enjoying it once you see people enjoying it with those things.
Damn, what is that, bro?
With the initial price entry phase over, let's say several weeks have passed, and we really want to create a custom deck of our own. Something that really is tailored to our own personality and brings us joy with every single card. That's right, we're talking about a custom EDH deck in which we hand-pick each of the 100 cards in our list. Well, that too is going to cost you, and it's going to cost you a whole heck of a lot more than your pre-constructed deck purchased from Wizards of the Coast.
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit!
Let's just say you're an amateur deck builder, as most people are. Well, you're going to throw in all the most powerful staples just to level up your deck. Let's say you're playing mono blue, you're going to be throwing in a Ristic Study for change, coming in at $30. Or even if you're playing mono red, you might even consider a Dockside Extortionist. This card is not $30 anymore, folks. It's coming in at a whopping $70. Remember just a few minutes ago, we were talking about $70 for an EDH deck? Now we're talking about $70 for a single card. And let's not even mention if we are a competitive gamer here. What if we want to play competitive? Well, you're going to have to pay to play. Some very expensive pieces found there. We have cards like Mana Crypt coming in around $170, as well as Mox Diamond for over $500 for a single card. It is freaking ridiculous. It is also only the tip of the iceberg with this hobby. If you are on a budget, there is a silver lining in this all, however. Wizards of the Coast does offer reprints several times a year to try to keep prices at bay. However, it is a double-edged sword, because what if you bought in at the high and a card is reprinted only for its value to tank? You've lost all of that value and you will never be able to sell it for the price you bought in at. Not to mention, when Wizards does a reprint, they typically go overboard. I mean, let's just look at Talrand here, for example. We got 16 reprints of the same card. And even when a special print run comes out for this piece, it's still worthless because there's so many in circulation. And we're not talking about the scalpers here just trying to make a quick buck flipping cards. No, with any collectible card game or collectible in general, you purchase it when it releases, you hold on to it since it is a collectible, and over time, due to demand and scarcity, that certain collectible you just bought will increase in price. Well, if it's reprinted to hell and back, that will never increase. As a matter of fact, you have a higher chance of it losing value. So all the money you spent in this IP will go right down the drain, and it will not reward the players for going out and spending extra money trying to FOMO getting those newer cards that may or may not be released later if they know, well, why would I buy this card now when it's going to be reprinted 50 times within the next 5 years? If you consider reprints are the problem, logically, the only decision to play here on out would be reserve list cards, otherwise known as cards that will never be reprinted again, as stated by Magic the Gathering. However, this is not simply the case. If we go to MTG Stocks and look at several high-priced reserve list cards, there's quite a few that are now dipping after their highs 2 years ago at the start of the pandemic. And most of these cards, in fact, did spike because of the pandemic. With that now behind us and people are now getting out and about and leaving their hobbies behind once more, we will see these cards reach new lows in the future. I will say this is not the case with every single reserve list card. There are some that have spiked quite a bit and are still reaching new highs. However, when getting into this game, we have to look at it financially. Once we buy the card, that money is gone. the chances of us making money off it are slim to none. If we're going to be playing the game and buying expensive pieces of cardboard, we have to take the monetary aspect of it and compare it strictly with the satisfactory aspect of it. You know, what are we getting out of this game personally and not financially? If we're going financially, there are better ways to make money. But then again, how much does fun have to cost? I know several people personally that have decks well over $8,000 to $10,000 for. It's just really not a good formula if you're trying to remain financially sound, especially with Wizards of the Coast releasing new cards. Let's say they came out with something new and you're like, hey, this would be really cool in my deck. Let's buy it and swap it out with another card. Well, that's just adding more money to your initial investments. And let's say that's just for our first deck. We spend all this money on one deck. What if we want to play something else? Well, we have to repeat this entire process all over again.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. And may God have mercy on your soul.
So, in conclusion, that initial $170 investment will not be a $170 investment. As a matter of fact, the game of Magic the Gathering is a very addictive one. I would not recommend anyone ever to get into this game unless they are monetarily sound or have enough self-control. But if you do, congratulations, because you'll be able to enjoy the world's greatest game, Magic the Gathering. And with that, we will conclude today's video. In the future, we will be discussing what exactly Cardboard Crack is, Magic the Gathering's reprint policy and my thought on it, as well as the reserve list. But until then, if you'd like to stay tuned for future videos here on the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And like I said, my name is Patrick, host of EDH Brutality. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.